Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Orane Williams, and welcome to our Lunch and Learn 5 Steps to Becoming an Entrepreneur. This is all for National Urban League's Day of Welcome Empowerment. To our Lunch and Learn 5 Steps to Becoming an Entrepreneur. This is okay. Sorry about that. Let's see where I am. Sorry about that. This is all for National Urban League's Day of Empowerment. I hope you guys are ready to learn something about entrepreneurship. Once again, I'm your host, Orane Williams. I want to thank the Urban League of Union County Young Professionals for inviting me to conduct today's Lunch and Learn 5 Steps to Becoming an Entrepreneur. So just to give you guys some keys that we're going to go over today, if you have a question, please feel free to send me an email at Orane, that's O-R-A-N-E, at OraneWilliams.com. That's O-R-A-N-E Williams.com. If you have a question while we were doing today's Google Hangout /webinar. Also, if you're on Twitter, feel free to tweet me at Orane Williams. That's O-R-A-N-E Williams. You can reach me via Twitter, or if you want to send an email, that's Orane at OraneWilliams.com. So glad you guys could join us. And like I said, today is a lunch and learn called 5 Steps to Becoming an Entrepreneur. So I'll be kind of going back and forth between showing you guys a deck and also just speaking to you guys video wise. So just to get things started, obviously you want to know a little bit about myself. I went to William Patterson University located in Wayne, New Jersey. I got a business management degree because as I was in school, I always had the feeling that one day I wanted to start my own business. I am also a member of the Urban League of Union County Young Professionals, where we do a multitude of things within our community. We were spotlighted on News 12. We do some volunteer activities. Coming up for the holidays, we're doing a business suit drive located at First Republic in Elizabeth, New Jersey. And I am the owner of BrandU Motivations, LLC. I started it exactly 1 year ago yesterday, so it's kind of exciting to celebrate that 1 year mark by being able to be with you guys for this Lunch and Learn 5 Steps to Becoming an Entrepreneur. So like I said earlier on, feel free to tweet any questions you might have during this segment to at Orane Williams. Or if you want to send me an email, my email address is Orane at OraneWilliams.com, and I will try to answer those questions while we're here. So on today's agenda, we're going to talk about what is an entrepreneur if you're not sure about that term. PPV is something I like to talk about. Then we're going to go through the 5 steps. Then we'll have a recap. And for any of those who have any questions, once again, feel free to tweet me at Orane Williams or send an email to Orane at OraneWilliams.com. Just to give you a little bit of background about myself and my business, BrandU Motivations, I started it 1 year ago. After doing workshops with teens and young adults around financial literacy, entrepreneurship, I decided to enroll myself in an entrepreneurship program through Rising Tide Capital. And after going through that and learning more about entrepreneurship, I started my business, BrandU Motivations, in which we conduct workshops, seminars. I'm working on a book for next year to empower, motivate, and help our young people, young teens, young adults. And I spend my time doing that, traveling and speaking at schools, conferences, conducting workshops. And actually, this is my first time doing a Google Hangout, so it'll be exciting. Would love to hear your feedback, and I hope to have a great time with you guys. So let's start with the definition of an entrepreneur. Entrepreneur is one who organizes, manages, and assumes the risk of any business or enterprise. And it's funny, I always ask my audience, if they know an entrepreneur. And, I work with a lot of young people, so I try to keep things as simple as possible. To me, I ask them to say, hey, do you guys know an entrepreneur? Do you guys go to the barber, the pizza shop? Those are your local entrepreneurs. And I always feel that an entrepreneur is the thriving people behind our economy. They work hard building their business, and hopefully you join this webinar because you too want to become an entrepreneur. You too want to start a business, so you're kind of looking for some guidance, and hopefully this webinar will help provide you with that guidance to help you become the entrepreneur that you want to become. So moving right along, I came up with this term called PPV. So 3 traits that I think every entrepreneur should have is, number 1, passion. Passion about what you want to do with your business, passion about the people you want to serve in that business, and just passion because not every day is going to be an easy day. Some days are going to be hard, some days are going to be easy, but it is a long road entrepreneurship. So I really feel that you should have passion. Next, purpose. Why do you want to be an entrepreneur? Why do you want to start that business? Purpose is very important. It is that why factor. Why do you stay up late every night working on whether it's your business plan or marketing or trying to drum up business? That why is very important. So purpose. Vision. You got to have a clear understanding as to where you want to see your business grow. For me, I want to see my business thrive into a position where I'm able to do it full time. I'm able to travel more, reach more people through different various mediums, not necessarily always in person, but through things like this. We have Google Hangouts, we have, Periscope and things of that nature. So what is your vision that you have for your business? Do you want your business to remain part-time, or do you want to be able to open up that restaurant that you always envisioned down the line? So vision is very important. So I think these are 3 important traits that every entrepreneur should have is passion behind what they plan to do as a business, have a purpose for that business. Why does that business exist? A lot of businesses start and end and fail. I'm sure you've seen businesses in your own community close up shop. What is the purpose of that business? And have a vision behind that business. Where do you see it going in the future? Those are important traits that I feel that an entrepreneur should have. So getting right into the steps. And once again, if you have a question, please feel free to tweet me at Orane Williams or send me an email at Orane at OraneWilliams.com. So kind of my first step is really basic. What is your business? Going back to that passion, I feel that if you're passionate about something and you want to turn it into a business, it's very important that you define what is your business. So, for example, think about someone who might like to cook. They're a chef. They went to culinary school and they want to start a business. But what is that business going to be? There's so many avenues that you can go into, from, having a few fish fries every once in a while in a year to maybe running a catering business, a food truck, or opening a restaurant, or maybe just doing a pop-up restaurant. There's so many things that you can do depending on what your business is, but it's important that you know what your business is. If you're a graphic designer, do you want your business to focus on purely producing graphics for the web, or do you want to focus on flyers, or do you want to focus on business cards, or do you want to focus on printed materials such as magazines and books? So as a business person and entrepreneur, it's important that you understand what your business is, so you have clear direction of where you plan to take that business and where you want to go. It's important that you clearly define what your business is. And if you're having trouble with that, it's important to ask yourself, what is my business? What is it that you want to do with that passion to make that into a business? Step 2, who is your customer? This is very important to know who your customer is, because your customer is ultimately going to be the one that is going to help your business thrive. So for myself, I take my business as a motivational speaking business. So although my audience is young teens and young adults, that is not necessarily my customer, because they aren't the ones who are writing the check. So, my customer is that Board of Education administrative person. Those are my customers. Those are the ones who seek me out, or those are the ones who I talk to be able to bring me into the school. For example, administrators such as vice principals, things of that nature. So it's important to know who your customer is and define that as definitively as you can, right down from having a target range of age, income, social status, things of that nature. It's important in knowing who your customer is, because if you don't know who your customer is, it's hard to service them. And a lot of new businesses or people who want to start a business think that everybody is your customer. In actuality, everybody is not your customer. So it's very important to clearly define who your customer is, because that is important in the next step of becoming an entrepreneur. So step 3 is, ideally you want to have and create a marketing plan for your business. It doesn't have to be very elaborate, very detailed. You want it to be as detailed as possible, but it's super important to have a marketing plan. And what that marketing plan is, how are you going to reach that customer? How are they going to find you? I always give a definition in that marketing is any and everything you do to get your business known. And in today's society, we use a lot of social media to, not only rant and rave about our personal lives, but for business purposes as well. So for someone like me, when I conduct a workshop or a webinar, for example, this, I post it on my Facebook, I post it on my Instagram, I post it on Twitter so that others can see it. But that's not the only medium. You should have several mediums that you intend to use to market your business. Long are the days where people ran commercials and billboards. I mean, these things still do exist, but as a small business, you might not have the funds to be on television, or to be have a billboard, or to have an ad in the newspaper. There's a lot of free resources that you can use, but you want to make sure that you're using the right resource for the right reason for your particular business. With the launch of social media, everyone has that access to be able to get out and implode your business by using social media. So it's important that you have a marketing plan of how you plan to reach your ideal customers, so that they know you exist, so that they know your doors are open. And it's very important that your marketing plan clearly defines how you're going to reach that customer that you clearly defined as well in step 2, because if you don't reach them, they won't know that your business exists, and they won't know that you're there. I know someone who opened a restaurant, and sometimes people think that if you open it, they will come. Unfortunately, they won't come if they don't know that you're there. Just because you open your doors and people may walk by doesn't mean they might not come in. So sometimes you have to get as basic as creating a flyer for your business and just going out into the community and distributing your flyer and posting it wherever you have. Sometimes the little simple things, if you hit the ground running with them, they may work for you. Anytime you're able to get some press, publicity, that is, an awesome way to showcase your business. So, for example, as being a member of the Urban League of Union County Young Professionals, we were able to spotlight our organization on the local community channel, News 12, and that prompted folks to not only know about us and know what we're doing, but prompted them to maybe want to join us in the movement and in what we do. So we were able to use that publicity to highlight our organization and what we do, and just really help capitalize on that opportunity. Anytime you're able to get some kind of article written on you, or anything of that nature that can help your business, a lot of businesses succeed from that, or increase their business from that. Many times, one thing I like about on Shark Tank is, although every business may not get a deal, I love when they go back and highlight a business that might not have gotten a deal at that time, but the fact that they were on a national television show like Shark Tank definitely helped them to increase their business, helping their marketing. There's nothing better than free publicity. So anytime, for example, I have the opportunity to address a room, I'm going to try to stand out as best as possible, and make myself and perhaps my company known, and take that few 30 seconds that I might have to pitch myself, so that everyone in the room can know who I am, know what I do, and if they want to do business with me, they could reach out to me afterwards and we could discuss that. So marketing is a very important part of your business. Having a marketing plan in place and how you plan to market your business. Step 4. Now you know what your business is. You know who your customer is. You know how you're going to reach your customer through that marketing. It's important to decide on a business structure. So as a entrepreneur, some folks may want to start a nonprofit business, and some folks might want to start a for-profit business. So essentially the difference is between the two. Don't be fooled and think that a nonprofit business does not make profit. They do. Look, the NFL is a nonprofit business. Don't tell me they don't make money. So at the end of the year, your physical year, what happens is, let's say your business is left with, $5,000 at the end of the year. If you're a nonprofit business, you can't say, okay, everyone gets a holiday bonus, or, the founder is going to get that $5,000, so on and so forth. You have to take that additional money, that profit at the end of the year, and put it back into your business through programming, through equipment, something of that nature. Unlike with a for-profit business, if you're left with excess funds at the end of the year, you can disperse that through employees, or keep that profit to use to build business for the next year. So essentially, that's the two differences between a for-profit business and a not-for-profit business. So back to business structure, there are 4 types of business structures that you should look at. So number 1 is a sole proprietor. You are the only person, the only owner, and you take full personal liability with your business if you're a sole proprietor. That is probably the least thing I think you should do as a business, is be a sole proprietor. It's very risky. It exposes yourself. It exposes you to liability. So I wouldn't recommend it if I were you. And that's just my own personal opinion. Next is a partnership. Perhaps you and a friend may want to start a business together. You decide to become partners, whether it's 50-50, 70-30, 80-20, whatever you decide to do. So, it's one business in which 2 or more people share in the ownership of that business. A partnership does not have to only be 2 people. It can be more than 2 people. You might see, for example, law practices. It might be Johnson, Smith, and Davidson, LLP. They are limited liability partnership. Typically, you are split things evenly, but it depends on how you write your partnership agreement. The next one is a limited liability company, or LLC for short. That is my business structure, BrandU Motivations LLC. It's a very popular structure. It is kind of an in-between of a corporation and a partnership. I am the sole owner of my business, but it allows me to create some separate from myself. So I'm able to go out and secure a bank account in my business's name. I'm able to write contracts in my business's name, and freeing up my personal self of Orane Williams from some liability if anything were to happen. Then you have a corporation, which is a completely independent legal entity of its own. So just think, because you're an entrepreneur who may be starting this small business out of your basement, doesn't mean that you don't, doesn't mean that you can't start a corporation if you so choose to. When deciding between these, recommend reaching out to your tax professional and perhaps a lawyer to see what structure would best suit you and your business and whomever else is involved in your business. So legal structure is very important. I always recommend, before going out and spending a lot of money, you want to test what it is, what you want to do, depending on the business. So for example, if you're somebody that's a chef, I'm not going to say don't open a restaurant, but you probably definitely want to do some research and some testing and everything before you do things like that. Or for example, if you're someone who sells clothes, I know a young lady, she sold clothes online for women, and she did very, very well. And then she decided to open a storefront, and it's doing very well as well. And it allows her to store her inventory and ship her inventory from there. So sometimes you want to start off your business with the least cost as possible. I'm a big component of that. Starting off with the least amount of costs and gradually going from there. So step 4 is, choosing that business structure. If there are some pros and cons, or advantages and disadvantages to each structure. So an advantage as a sole proprietor is that you're the only decision maker. No one else is going to question your decisions because it's just you. A disadvantage is that you're fully liable for any of the business's actions. So if you decide to have a sole proprietor business and you go out into society or into the community and you're conducting business and you have a bad transaction or some bad business with somebody, you are fully liable for whatever happens. So if someone decides to sue you for anything, they can come after you personally. Partnership, the next structure. An advantage of that is it's easy, it's inexpensive, and allows you to work with somebody, because sometimes you might not have all the answers, and it's good to have that partner to bounce your feedback and ideas off of, and they may be able to get you the answers you may need. So having that partner is a good idea if you like working with people. A disadvantage is you might get into a fight with that partner, arguments, and sometimes, and you're both liably held for the business's actions. So if your partner did something that you might not have agreed with, you two are also responsible for that. So it's important to choose your partner wisely if you decide to go in the partnership route. Once again, if you have a question, please feel free to tweet me at Orane Williams or send me an email at orane@oranewilliams.com. Moving along, the next structure is limited liability company, or LLC for short. A great advantage of that is that members are protected from personal liability for the business's actions, because it's almost like a separate entity when you have an LLC, and it's also great for taxes. But once again, with any of these structures, you want to consult your tax professional and also any legal professional that you have on your team. Disadvantage is that it's limited life cycles. So if one member leaves, you may have to dissolve your business. So depending on how you structure your business, you might have to do that. So that's a disadvantage there. And the last structure corporation, an advantage there is that it's easy to raise capital, and it gives you very limited liability. A disadvantage is that a corporation is very expensive to maintain. It's lots of paperwork and double taxation. And typically, especially when starting out a business, one of the things that scares a lot of folks is kind of the money you may have to lay out in terms of just filing things and documentation, and will I get taxed even though I didn't make any money, things of that nature. So you definitely want to keep that in mind if you decide to start a corporation. And like I said, my business structure is a limited liability company because I like that structure. It's very easy to maintain. It's very cost effective for me as a one-man business, but I definitely did not want to be a sole proprietor. So keep that in mind when you're thinking of the business that you would like to start, what structure you should choose. And my next step, step 5, is to register your business. Many times people may start a business and not necessarily register it with their state or city government because they think, oh, I don't want to go through that and things of that nature. I highly recommend being official, register with your local state. So I am in New Jersey, so my business is registered with the state. It's on public record, me as the owner, and that makes your business very official. Now, if you are not sure how to go about doing that, depending on where you live, there's tons of resources. Some people may use services like LegalZoom and things of that nature, or you could do it yourself, or you can go through a program such as I did myself, called Rising Tide with Rising Tide Capital Community Business Academy. I was able to learn not only about entrepreneurship, but I was also able to meet with one of the advisors, and he helped walk me through registering my business, getting a tax ID, which allows my business to pay its own taxes and things of that nature. I got a federal identification number, which is kind of like a social security number for your business. So registering your business is that last step to really help you to become an entrepreneur. And there's lots of resources available for free within your local community. Some of those resources that I find most helpful is SBA.gov, which is the Small Business Administration, Small Business Association. They help you out. There's lots of webinars, articles, all kind of resources to help assist you in starting that business, and not only starting it, but maintaining that business. Definitely check out your state website. So for me, I live in New Jersey. NJ.gov has a great portal of information, from registering the business, finding out about taxes, finding out if you have any permits you might be interested in, and things of that nature. Never forget your local library. I know in today's age we rely on the library of Google to help answer questions, but the local library always has great resources for entrepreneurs. Score.org is a great resource. That is the Society of Retired Executives. If you want to meet with them, if you could check their website, they may have a local office in your area. Many times they conduct workshops at the local library, from starting a business to a marketing plan and things of that nature. So if you visit them, you can even meet one-on-one with them. And once again, this is a free resource to you, so please utilize any free resources you can. There are small business incubators. So for example, in my area, Rutgers and Keene has an incubator program that allows you to go through some workshops and things of that nature. They have a lot of resources for your business, even when it's up and running. Also provide you with very minimal cost office space if you need office space. which is awesome. When you are a small business owner and an entrepreneur, you always want to utilize any free resources that you can. That's why if you go to Panera, you see a lot of people working off their laptops and things like that, because we tend to use Panera Bread and Barnes and Nobles and places like that. It's kind of like our mini offices until we are able to secure our own office. So those are some great resources for you to definitely check out. So kind of to recap the things we talked about and the steps is step one, what is your business? It's very important to define that clearly, not only for yourself, but for others. And you might want to gather a team of advisors to bounce those ideas off of. When you're thinking of starting that business, or you're thinking, hey, I'm really passionate about sewing, or I'm really passionate about working with kids, I'm really passionate about cooking. You might want to gather some folks who you feel have a good opinion on things and bounce that idea off of them, and they can help you clearly define what your business is. Next, in step two is know who is your customer. It's very important to answer that question, to know exactly who your customer is, so you can know how you're going to reach them, how you're going to contact them. Even if you aren't sure, you can poll your customer, create a poll for yourself, create a survey so you can ask that customer, hey, what's your thoughts on this price point? Or how does this particular graphics sit with you? What do you think about this? Knowing your customer is very important, because it all comes down to step three, that marketing plan. So if you know your customer is always engaged on Facebook between the hours of 5 and 7, that's the time you want to do your post or your ads on Facebook, because your customer is on Facebook around those times on those particular days of the week, or whatever the case may be. So it's important to know who your customer is. Great. Next, number 4, choose your business structure. We went through the 4 structures of sole proprietor, partnership, limited liability, corporation. If you want to be a serious entrepreneur and you want to take that hobby and turn it into a business, it's important that you clearly define what your structure is. And like I said, work with your tax professional, your legal professional, to understand what your business is. And last, you want to register that business. Register it with the state, with your local county office. Check your state website first, and typically they'll have tips and links on how to register your business within that area. So I got a question, and I'm going to go through it. Awesome. So the first question is, what made you decide to start your organization, and why does the mission motivate you? Great question. So the way I decided to start my business is after college, I read the book Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And Rich Dad, Poor Dad talks about pretty much how he had 2 different fathers. Anyway, it got me interested to learn, why in the community we aren't taught about financial literacy. We're not taught about real estate and things of that nature. And I went out and bought my first house at the age of 23, and I was able to purchase the house and fix it up and flip it for a profit later on. And then I decided to read some other books, and those books got me thinking, why in our community we aren't taught things about money. So I started doing workshops with around money. I reached out to an organization I belong to as a teen called Delta Teen, that takes place in North New Jersey. And I asked them, hey, got this idea. I want to do workshops and teach kids about money. And so that's kind of what got me started a couple of years ago. And that's what had me start my organization, and it motivates me. What I do is because I just like touching the lives of young people and helping them out, because a lot of young people that I see really just look up to. Unfortunately, these reality shows that are just pretty much diminishing the way we look to other people. And I just try to go out there, and I always start every presentation with a couple of pictures of whether it's places I've been or things I like to do, and just like to show them that, hey, listen, you don't have to be the coolest person or anything like that, but you can make it. You could do whatever you want in life. And I just like working with young people, because I feel that some of them are lost, or some of their minds are just really chimed in and really engaged in what I'm saying, and they really enjoy what I'm doing, and how I'm helping them out. How long did it take you to start to bring in revenue? That's a great question. So obviously, as an entrepreneur, you're starting your business, you're laying out some money, whether it's getting business cards, whether it's creating a website. Excuse me. Shameless plug, my website is oranewilliams.com. Actually, the day I registered my business, I actually invoiced my first client. Not everybody is so lucky. So it all depends on how you set your business up. I think I was in a position where I was already crawling. So I had already been doing and conducting some workshops. So people, I'm not going to say that, hey, I'm the go-to guy for what I do, but people knew that, hey, Orane, he loves, working with kids. He talks to kids and things of that nature, because I try to always promote that within my social media streams. So I was able to secure a client very early on in starting my business. So day one, I was able to invoice a client. And another thing is that as an entrepreneur, a lot of times folks may want you to, do something for free. And you got to pick and choose what you want to do for free. Volunteering is great, but your business can't be a volunteer business, because then you'll be out of business. So you got to think of what things you want to volunteer for and what things you don't want to volunteer for. And some of the things that I used to do was volunteering, and that's how I was able to build connections. People see what I do as a test, and it was able to lead me to bigger and better stages in my business. Next question: what are some of the mistakes that you made and that you learned from? I think some of the mistakes that I learned is that sometimes I tend to procrastinate. And it's very important as an entrepreneur that you organize yourself. So create some kind of system, whether it's setting things up in your calendar, especially if you work a full-time job and you might have limited time. So for example, we like to say, you might be working your 9 to 5, but from 5 to 9, you're working your business. Try to dedicate yourself and really organize what you want to do, how you want to do it. And if you follow those steps to becoming an entrepreneur, once you do become, think of starting small. Don't try to start too big and take on too much. Build a team for yourself. Whether it's, I love to have employees, but when I can't do something, or there's something that I'm not an expert in, I have somebody that I could bounce an idea or advice on. Entrepreneurs definitely like to congregate with one another and talk through our struggles, our successes, and things of that nature. And or reach out, or I've reached out to virtual assistants to do this, do that. One of the downfalls to entrepreneurship is sometimes we try to do it all ourselves, because sometimes we feel that no one's going to do it better than me, and we take on too much. But you got to learn what to outsource and what to hand off to someone else that's going to do it better than you. So that might be another downfall of mine, is that I try to do too much, and then that just bogs me down and overwhelms me, and then it just doesn't get done. So organization is key, and knowing what to pass off to someone else. Great. Her next question is, how do I tactically keep myself motivated every day? I got to take a sip of water. But honestly, every day I'm just grateful to be able to wake up and do what I do, and be able to, at the end of the day, say, I really got something done. I think daily create some tasks for yourself to be able to look at and be able to knock out. And every day I'm able to just wake up. I like to do a lot of traveling. And a lot of times people say, how do you get to travel so much? Because that's what I tried to create my business around, my lifestyle, what I like to do personally. And being able to travel is very important to me. And there's time that I'll go travel on business and be still able to relax and enjoy it. Be able to just, work by the pool or work by the beach. But every day I just try to stay motivated because I'm passionate about what I do. And the purpose that I have in doing it is that I enjoy it. There's a saying that if you do what you love, the money will come. At no time in school, whether it was college or high school, did I ever see myself as the person in front of students, conducting these school seminars or assemblies and things of that nature. I never would have thought that a day in my life. But, I stepped out and started doing it, and I enjoy doing it. And I enjoy working with young people, young students, because as a student myself, I tried to get involved in a lot of programs that were just fruitful and beneficial to my growth as a person. So every day I just get up and be grateful for the opportunity I have to be an entrepreneur, to be able to work on my business, to be able to know other entrepreneurs that are being successful. And as I see them be successful, I know that, hey, I too can be successful, because you're only going to get out of it what you put into it. So I know many people that might be out here, maybe working a business for somebody else, and there's nothing wrong with that. If you're happy doing what you're doing, that's awesome. But if you're miserable doing what you're doing and you're looking for doing something else, being an entrepreneur has its pluses and its minuses. I'm not going to say it's always perfect, but it's a great experience. How did you meet your mentors to bounce ideas off of? Sometimes it's just in a circle of friends. It doesn't always have to be an entrepreneur that you might bounce ideas off of. It might just be a trusted friend, a colleague, other entrepreneurs. It's definitely great to congregate with other entrepreneurs, so that you can, hear their successes, their struggles, and things of that nature. Trying to think. That's all I have to say. One other question is, any book recommendations? Yeah, I definitely have some books I could recommend. Let me just look at my library really quickly. I'll be right there. All right, sorry about that. I didn't anticipate anyone to ask about some book recommendations. There's some books that I'd recommend that I haven't even gotten to read yet. Any books with Tim Ferriss, The 4-Hour Workweek is great. This is a good book as well. The Secret to Success by Eric Thomas. If you're not watching his videos on YouTube every Monday, thank God it's Monday. Very motivating, very great, down-to-earth individual. I got to personally meet him as well. Engagement marketing. Like I said, as an entrepreneur, marketing is very essential to your business. So this is also a good read as well. Please, this book has nothing to do with how I feel about politics, but actually Donald Trump's book, The Art of the Deal, talks a lot about negotiation and things like that nature. So I read that a while back. I like it. It offers some good negotiation tactics. How to Create Multiple Streams of Income, and that is by Peter Contelli. It's a real estate related book, but who doesn't want to have more than one income source? Great read right there. I Will Teach You to Be Rich by Ramit Sethi. It's an awesome book if you're into personal finance like me. It offers some great tips, great value. Another book in my library is Release Your Brilliance. Awesome book. As an entrepreneur, you always want to help to increase your knowledge, not only in your field, but just to help your brain and build your knowledge and your database in your mind. So those are some books I'd recommend. If I have any more, I can definitely email you some others. So some person emailed and says, why don't your next business venture be bow ties? Awesome question. I'm not much of a fashion person, but I do like bow ties or any ties by my favorite designer, Michael Lamont, small business owner. He's an entrepreneur. He has a shop in Maplewood, New Jersey. And I feel that as an entrepreneur, this is part of my branding to always look and remain professional. Most times, if I'm at a conference or something like that, and I'm just dressed neat or casual, or especially when I have a Michael Lamont bow tie on, it gets attention and it makes for a good conversation starter. As an entrepreneur, you got to be comfortable in pitching yourself, pitching your business, and being able to network and connect with others. So looking snazzy, as I should say, or having a nice tie as a man is a great piece to have on. Right now, there's no other questions. I think we had a great webinar. We talked about those 5 steps once again, just to recap on that. Know what your business is. Clearly define that. Number 2, know who your customer is. It's very important to know who your customer is. Number 3, that marketing plan, know how to reach them, know where they are, know what they read, know what they like to do. It's important to reach them with that marketing plan. Marketing is everything you do to get your business known. So if I have any business and I'm not talking about it, who's gonna know about it? So that's important as well. So for example, if you're into fitness, my man Deboni, he has a business, Addicted to Fitness, located in Union, and he's constantly showcasing his clients, them losing weight or them working out, them exercising on his social media, and that's how he's marketing his business. And social media costs us nothing. Number 4, choose your business structure. It's important that you pick a structure that fits your business model. Work with your tax professional, your legal professional. And then number 5, register that business with your local county and state. If you're not sure how to register that business, definitely look on your state's website. Typically that's state.gov. So for example, New Jersey is nj.gov. They have a whole business portal with information on registering your business, searching names and things of that nature. So those are my 5 steps. Once again, what is your business? Know who your customer is. Step 3, that marketing plan. Step 4, choosing that business structure. And step 5, registering your business with the state. So if there's no other questions, I'm going to just give it another minute or 2. And I hope everyone found this Google Hangout / webinar very informative for National Urban League's Day of Empowerment. I hope you became empowered with my 5 tips. I look forward to you starting your business. If you have any questions around entrepreneurship or you want some additional resources, please feel free to reach out to me at oranewilliams.com. I look forward to you starting your business, becoming an entrepreneur, and joining the club. Once again, I want to thank the Urban League of Union County Young Professionals for asking me to conduct this webinar. So if there's no other questions, I want to thank you guys. Thank everyone for joining live. If you did not join live and you're reading watching, I should say, excuse me, watching the broadcast. I hope you found it to be very informative. So with that being said, once again, my name is Orane Williams of BrandU Motivations LLC, where we look to empower, motivate, and provide leadership training for young teens and young adults throughout the country. So please, if you want to get in touch with me, my website is oranewilliams.com, or you can send me an email at oranewilliams.com. I look forward to having a blessed day, everyone. Take care. Bye-bye.